I tell the sports. World Series is here. Diamondbacks, Texas. Even before the series started, I had Texas. I still got Texas. Texas. Garcia hot as fish grease. Um, he hit another. He hit a walk off last night. But before that, I think the Texans, like the Rangers, have been really dominant in the playoffs. Not just him, but the pitching and offense have been dominant. Diamondbacks always have to come from behind, so it's kind of like eventually that's going to end. They did the same thing yesterday. They were down 2-zip, came back. They were up 3-2, up most of the game into the bottom of the ninth. So, well, to the top of the ninth. So it's going to be interesting to see them try to use that scheme. Obviously, you want to lead from the beginning, but when you're also always constantly trying to come from behind, it kind of wears you. Eventually, it doesn't work. But there's still a lot of bases. They get on base a lot, so it's gonna be interesting to see. I think it's gonna be a 6 game series. So I think Texas in six or something like that. They may be able to eke out 3 wins. I don't think so. I think Texas should win this in five, but they're definitely winning in six, in my opinion. So we'll see. I was reading numbers about baseball, World Series not interesting anymore, but there's different things they can do to change the World Series. Obviously, the mid-season game has something to do with where it's going to be played at, but I think the the league has changed a lot when it comes to dominant players. So the hitters aren't more marketable like they used to be. Obviously, Barry Bonds and stuff like that, Jim Tomei and Pujols, Alex Rodriguez, Derek Jeter. Baseball players aren't marketed like that anymore. You have a few here and there, obviously Bryce Harper and Otani and Judge, but they're not like godlike figures like they used to be. Now that has a lot to do with home runs. So the steroid era, there was way more home runs than individually than they are now, and obviously players are hurt more. So things happen. Bryce has missed some games. Mike Trout has missed some games. When Pujols was before he retired, he was missing games. Alex Rodriguez missed games. So the big dogs missed games, and now the switch guy, Otani's missed games. And Otani to me was one of the biggest stars in this era because he was a both switch hitter. He can pitch and hit. And now, because his injuries, next season he cannot pitch. So to me, that takes a step back for a lot of people who want to actually see him do both, pitch and hit. So next season, people who want to support him and obviously support, well, whatever team he's going to be on because he's a free agent. So to watch him pitch and hit, he'll just be a hitter for next year. And then in 2025, he'll be back to a pitcher and hitter. I don't know if that's going to last. You increase your injury possibility substantially when you do both. You can get injured pitching, you can get injured hitting. It's two different styles of play and styles of practicing and all that mechanics and all the good stuff. So a lot of teams won't be able to do that. A lot of players won't be able to do that. And a lot of teams won't even allow you to do that. If I hired you to hit, I need you to hit. If I hired you to pitch, I need you to pitch. You're going to have outliers. We up 10 runs, we'll let you pitch. We're down 10 runs, we'll let you pitch. Things like that. You're going to have outliers. But for the most part, Major League Baseball needs to embrace the guys who can do both and try to. The rules are in the place to do both, but it has to start when you're young. So little league, college, and stuff like that. And then that will, and those guys, if they were able to make the World Series, that would help fans, support the World Series. But also, let's be honest, the big dogs are getting mocked. Dodgers are out the playoffs early. Braves are out the playoffs early. Baltimore, even though it's a small market team, a lot of people supported them. They won their division the first time in like 20 years. They were out early. Yankees haven't made the playoffs. So a lot of the teams that have bigger fan bases were in the playoffs short term or not even in the playoffs. Obviously, Boston would have been in there and would have had a great numbers rating wise. Also, the Mets. So the small market teams are winning right now. Obviously, the Braves won last year. This year is going to be the Texas or Arizona. Arizona hasn't been hot since Randy Johnson. So those things are going to take play, when you think about trying to get the World Series numbers back up to where they were 20, 30 years ago. It's like, okay, well, do we have to kind of help some situations out? Obviously, we know we don't want to see bad ref games and stuff like that, but you're going to have to do what you got to do to make sure the numbers can get there. So you got to try to help teams like the Yankees, the Mets, teams like the Dodgers, the big market teams, beloved teams, got to help them get there. Or, try to encourage them to do well. Like the Yankees haven't really paid anybody but Judge. The Mets are overpaying guys that are older, and they paid for it this year with injuries and guys that just weren't producing. The Dodgers were there, the Braves were there, but they ran into a buzzsaw in the playoffs. So we're going to see. I'm watching the World Series, but I do understand for baseball purposes, they do want more people to watch it. But the only way to do it is to encourage superstars to play both ways. And those superstars who play both ways can also make the World Series. That's one. Two, get these big market teams to the World Series. Do what you got to do. Number three is you have to try to get what Verlander said, juice balls back in the game. A couple of years ago, Verlander was mad because he felt like the balls were replaced with balls that are easier to hit outside the park. So home runs, long balls like that. You have to figure out, because pitching isn't sexy. I'll watch a one zip game, 2-zip game, but I'm a baseball fan. I'm kind of like an old school purist. I love pitching. I want everybody to strike out. But for the most part, you have to understand that the fans want home runs, they want RBIs, they want runs scored, they want stolen bases, they want things to see action. Some people don't want to see a whole bunch of strikeouts. But I got Texas in 6, and it should be fun. I'll be watching. Peace.